Welcome to my channel, Tangumaya Gardens. My name is Nicola. I thought it was about time I did a video on my conclusions as to whether or not kitty litter was a good planting medium. Quick answer, yes, it is. In my opinion, it is. But it was only one brand that I ended up using, and I would like to explain to you why that is. Alright, so I should be showing you videos from when I first started using it and what happened with one brand and why I am not using that one. So thank you. So I decided I would do a voiceover on this video, as I do find that this works really well for me. I can talk to you about things that I had forgotten to mention. I can also intermix lots of different videos and give you one particular thread and talk to you about what that's all about. So when it came to using kitty litter, I had seen this idea floated around on YouTube quite some time ago, so I'm sorry I don't know the people that I saw that with. So they said to use just plain kitty litter, so that is what I did. And now here we are, about 4 or 5 months later, I can tell you my conclusions to whether or not that worked. In an answer, yes and no. Yes, it depends on which variety you use. Now, I chose 2 that are available here in Queensland. A kitty litter clay, and this is this brand here. So it's now, where are we? This is the beginning of the 3rd day, and it's still looking like that. All right. So that's what it's looking like. This one, on the other hand, has gone like this within a day. Now this is, hang on a second, it's this one from Coles. It's a Coles brand. And I'll show you what it looks like when I open up the bag. But this is what this has done within one day. Hang on, I'm trying to bring it out gently. It has turned into mush. Look at that. That's absolutely amazing. So first off, going by what the people had said, I just used kitty litter, and I then put my slow release fertilizer in and covered it over with the kitty litter and planted my plant. I placed them into the ponds or the tubs and stood back and waited. Yes, well, what happened was that things didn't go well. A lot of the plants in the chandler didn't really do anything. They just sort of sat there. The ones in the very fine clay, some of them, most of them, 99% of them, started dying within a week or 2. And it turned out they were suffocating. That's basically what was happening. They were unable to move their roots out into anything. So that didn't work. All right. So then what I decided to do was, I was destroying one of my ponds that I had, my big ponds that I had for 10 years. It's going to be made into a goldfish pond. And so it had a lot of sand that had a lot of nutrients in it. So I decided to mix the 2 with the chandler one. And that worked really well. And the reason why it worked is because the plants you're dealing with have all got very, very fine roots coming from the base of the plant. And they need food almost instantly. And having slow release fertilizer further down in the mix means that slow release fertilizer is not available until the weather warms up, the water warms up. And in here they didn't do anything until they got into their 30 degrees Celsius. So that wasn't working. So that's why as soon as I put the sludge that I had in the bottom of my pond, mixed it up with the kitty litter, off they all went. And it all went really well. I've also got slow release fertilizer, of course, in there. And I've also now mixed in blood and bone and mineral rock, which is almost like a salad but made of rock, different types of rock. Very good if you can get your hands on it. Now when it came to the very fine sand, clay, that didn't go well. As I say, first off, it suffocated everybody, but two, it got released into the water. Now it is so fine that it cannot settle on its own. I left it for about a week or two, and probably about 2 weeks actually, and it would not settle. So I had to end up going and buying Pond Max, which is a flocculant. Brilliant stuff, absolutely brilliant. Works amazingly, even works on green water. I was amazed at that. Now 25 minutes ago I placed a small amount of the Pond Max flocculant in here, and just as it's doing up in the big shallow pond, this is what it's doing to this one, because dropped it all to the floor within a couple of hours, actually, definitely by a day or two. But there is one pond which has a lot of yellow tropicals in it, St. Louis golds, which I presently am selling at the moment, and it wouldn't settle. It just wouldn't settle. I had to end up using over 2.5 bottles of it on it, and I think the problem was that I had so much hornwort in there, it kept getting caught on the hornwort and it couldn't drop to the floor. So it just sort of only half got itself cleaned up. So in the end I gave up on that one and just left it to the water lilies to sort out, and they're just flowering away like mad at the moment. And the whole place is looking much, much better. But that particular clay is so fine that unless you use a flocculant, you cannot drop it. And you mustn't use one that's got aluminium in it. You have to use a flocculant that is suited to ponds. Aluminium will kill everything you've got in your pond. All right. So anyway, my conclusion, I will be using kitty litter to extend the amount of sludge that I have. Now, if you don't have sludge, people do talk about the fact that you can use topsoil. There are supposed to be some topsoil available at nurseries. I've never used it. Some people use specialized water lily soils that you can buy. I personally will be just using my sludge from the bottom of my pond, and once I run out of that, my mum has a man-made creek that is continually filling up with sludge from an underground spring, and therefore I shall be using that soil from there. So conclusions, yes, it works, but it needs to have an added soil with it. One other thing that I do find as a problem, two things actually. One is I have used Hessian to line my ponds. Now, yes, it works. Yes, it does work. The roots can get out, which is exactly what I want. Everything works well. The plants are doing well. But when you go to actually transplant them, it holds its shape very well. But the problem is it smells. It is decaying, as is what I expected it to do. But it smells in doing so, and I worry about that. So therefore I'm not completely sure. I haven't made up my mind as to whether or not I'm going to continue using it or not. It does work very well, just a bit worried about that. Second thing, if you go to take the Hessian away and you're using the Chandler clay, it just falls apart. It doesn't hold itself. Whereas with the very fine clay, you can pick it up and it just literally dissolves in your fingers. And yet you can pick it up in a lump, as a great big solid lump. But the trouble is, it suffocates everyone. And I'm not willing to try it by mixing it with my my sludge. So I've decided to sort of forego that one and just stick to Chandler. So it's completely up to you as to what you use. Everybody uses lots of different types of things. I'm just trying this as an experiment. I like to do experiments. I like to see what happens. This is what is the situation for me. And at the moment, I will continue on going the way I'm going, using Chandler, sludge, slow release fertilizer, blood and bone, mineral rock, and at the moment, my Hessian. So anyway, I hope that helps, if it helps at all. But anyway, thanks very much for coming, and I hope to see you some other time. See you later, bye.